Yeah, yeah, oh. We'll never give up. We'll never give up. We'll never give up. Till we drop. Schwab is a wonker. Bill Gates is a thief. World Economic Forum, you're just a big bunch of creeps. WHO, well, who the hell are you? We've never taken your vaccines, neither. We never follow the rules. We'll never give up. We'll never give up now. We'll never give up. We'll fight till we drop.
We'll keep marching in the heat, the cold and the rain, to complain, to show our disdain. You still think we're insane, but our focus will never wane. As new tyrants, traitors start their reigns, they've got you like dogs on chains. Oh, if only you had brains. You're eating out of the palms of their hands. It's just the start of their wicked plans. For what's right, we really tried. Clear lies still make you petrified. You're still being taken for a ride. We're still swimming against the tide. And we will forever, again and again. Are you boys or are you men?
You better believe it. We're in this together. We'll never give up, we'll never give in. This is a battle between good and evil. We stand shoulder to shoulder, we fight them on every front. Good wins in the end.
We'll never give up. We'll never give up. Come on. Oh. We'll never give up. We'll fight till we drop.
Yes, we will. We drop.
We'll never give up. We'll never give up. We'll fight till we drop. We'll never give up. We'll never give up. Yeah, yeah, oh.
Welcome to the Resistance Podcast Live.
with me, Katy-Jo Murfin from Hope Sussex Community, with the one and only Richard Vobes. Fantastic.
Thank you
So
very
lovely
much.
to see you, Richard.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
And a very Merry Christmas.
And a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you.
It's
And to all of your wonderful viewers.
Yes, and all the amazing guests that are here today as well.
Oh, yes, I forgot about those. Can't see anything.
It's a bit dark, isn't it? So, what is Christmas like in the Richard Vobes household? With the lovely Richard and the lovely Julia.
Well, of course, Christmas is full of mince pies, full of lots of delicious port and alcohol and various things, bit of pipe smoking on the side, small cherubs running around doing everything for you,
Yeah.
vacuuming, cleaning, tidying, cooking, whilst
Oh
I
my
just
gosh, can I
go
get those
upstairs and
cherubs over
record
at my house?
podcasts. Yeah, no, this year, actually, we're going away, which is quite nice. The lovely Julia, my wonderful partner, who is watching, we're going to her parents, and then we're off to stay with some friends. That's no excuse to come and nick anything from the house, by the way, because we do have a guard cat, who actually is
Scary.
coming with us, so...
Lovely. So you're getting away from it all, which will be
yeah,
nice.
and to be honest, I will probably take a camera with me and no doubt upload a daily podcast of some description, a monologue, or as the lovely Julia calls it, a monologue. But I may forget, because we're actually going to be milking cows on a farm, raw milk.
Oh
So
my
we'll be
goodness.
on a three-legged stool in the middle of a field in the blizzards of winter with 600 cows doing this.
Have you ever milked a cow before?
Yes. Yeah, we've done it quite a few times, and we're not
Expert.
doing any of this. We're using the clusters,
Oh,
and
okay.
it'll be lovely.
But it's raw milk,
It's raw milk, yeah, straight
best
from
milk. You can,
straight
you
from
can
the
drink.
udder.
Straight from the udder.
Yeah.
Talking of the lovely Julia,
Yes.
I would love to know how you two met.
Would you?
Yes.
Well, you're nosy, aren't you?
I'm very nosy. But you're kind of like one of the golden couples in the freedom movement, aren't you?
Oh,
You know,
is
you
that
are.
what people think?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I better not tell you. I met her at a strip club, then, don't I? No, of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. He was stripping. Yeah, that was the question. I met the lovely Julia when I was running a previous incarnation of my channel called The Bald Explorer. And at the time, I was looking at heritage, landscape, and nature as my themes. So I'd be walking across the countryside, pointing at lovely old buildings and churches and some of the countryside, the nature, and all the good stuff in life that we've now sort of trying to destroy. I say we, I mean them, not them.
No, not them.
Not them. The
evil
other lot,
ones.
the evil ones. So before I was sort of really overly aware of all of that, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have people on the channel with me, taking me on their favourite walk? And this lady got in touch with me and said, I know a tree that you'd like to go and visit. And I said, oh, okay, that would be great. And she said it was a fairy tree. And I thought, uh-oh. This is going to be a bit weird. But anyway, let's shake the audience up. We're going to go to a fairy tree today. And so I met up with her, and it was, I think, in autumn, because she was all dressed up in, warm clothes. And we did this thing with this fairy tree, and it was at a time where I wasn't terribly knowledgeable about the names of trees. And I thought, I need to know, because I'm walking around the countryside, and I can't just keep going, oh, there's a lovely tree. Oh, and that's a lovely tree. I needed to sort of at least go, that's an oak, and that's an elm, and that's what is that? Oh, yeah, that's a willow, whatever it was. And there are these ancient oaks around the country. All of them are oaks, these old venerable trees. And having done this fairy tree, which was a tree where kids would come and put little bits of tat on these sort of precious, meaningful things on this tree and pin them up, and parents would bring the kids and sacrifice them. Take them around the tree. And I thought it was so nice having Julia on the show. I said to her, I'm going to go to Kingley Vale, which is near Chichester, just north of Chichester, and it's got these ancient yew trees. So she said, oh, I'd love to go and do that. And I said, oh, come on then. So we went and did that, and we made a video. And of course, the ratings were going up because I had this rather beautiful young lady who was a little bit mystical and a bit elf-like, I suppose. And I thought, well, that's a good thing. So we kind of did a few more of those, became good friends. And then down the line, when her relationship with her ex all faltered, we kind of got ourselves together.
Oh, that's such a lovely story.
Isn't that a lovely story? I made that all up, of course. No, that is
What
the truth.
year was that? What year?
It was 2018.
18.
Yeah.
Okay. So just before
Just
it
before
all
the-
kicked
yeah.
off, the madness really accelerated
Absolutely.
and went
Yeah.
totally nuts. So, I want to look at your path of how you got to where you are today.
Yes.
With your YouTube channel.
Right.
Because you've done quite a lot of different jobs, haven't you? Am I right in thinking you worked in a printers, then TV extra, mime artist, and teacher?
Yeah.
So you've got all of these different
Bizarre world of work, yeah.
yeah, and then but you've always had it in your blood, I suppose, that you've wanted to be in front of the camera.
Since I was a kid, I
Okay.
played with when I was like 5 or 6, my dad had an old Grundig reel-to-reel tape recorder. And I used to love the idea that you could get a microphone and record your voice, and it had speed changes, so you could speed it up and slow it down. So I used to do these little silly voice podcasts, before podcasts or anything, little recordings, where I did this little play where I was Captain Vidor from the Vidor batteries. You remember that? You probably don't remember, it's far too young. But they used to have the Vidor batteries, and I thought, oh, that's a great name. At the time, Kenny Everett was doing Captain Krenin on
Kenny
Capital
Everett.
Radio, or
Yeah.
whatever it was at the time. And so I sort of was doing my version of that, as a sort of young kiddie, and would play it back, play it at different speeds, and started doing silly voices. And I loved that. And then, as I got a bit older, where I was in Horsham, the house backed onto a farm, and the farm was derelict. And one day I'm with my mate playing in the farmer's fields, mucking about, and we see a Ford Capri go down this old lane towards the farmhouse. And we always felt we shouldn't be playing in this, so we always sort of ducked into the shrubbery. And we watched this Ford Capri come down. These two burly blokes got out, rolled onto their haunches, and were pointing guns at somebody. And we thought, my God, what's going on? And they froze like this for a few moments. Then they got back up, got in the car, reversed this car down the track a bit, and did it again. Okay, what the hell is going on? Well, obviously, as time passed, they did this about 4 or 5 times, and we crept closer up, thinking they're mad, aren't they? But they definitely had guns in their hands, and they were pointing. Then we saw the camera,
Yeah.
and we realised they were making a film. And so, at a discreet distance, we watched them, and it was a stunt group, stuntmen, who were making a promotional film, 16mm film, about what they could do. And within the rest of that afternoon, we saw them shoot at each other, climb over the roofs, fall off, get shot, go through, crashing through the roof, set fire to a barn, and then a woman who had apparently been kidnapped in this sort of mock thing came rushing out on fire to the camera, whereupon a couple of burly blokes behind the scenes put some blankets over and dived on her to put the fire out. And we watched, and it was at that moment I said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
I bet that must have been so exciting as a kid
yeah.
to fall upon that.
And the great thing was, this is for me, was fantastic. These guys, because they climbed on this derelict roof, they left the cardboard boxes and the mattresses, which they tumbled down and then would use to break their fall, they left them there in one of the barns. So the following day, I borrow my dad's SLR slide camera, and we make a film where we're climbing in slides, because they didn't have a movie camera then, but we made pretty much their film doing everything they did. Thank God they didn't leave any petrol or anything lying around, because I don't think we'd be here now. But they had smoke machines and all those sort of things. But we did as bad. We climbed on the roof and all of that, and we just did it, you know, as kids do, and it was great. So that sort of set me off.
That was it.
That was it.
That was
all I
it. That
wanted
was
to
your
do.
path.
Yeah.
And although it winded and it went in different directions, you actually now are where you wanted to be. Do you think?
Well, it's funny because I wanted to get into television, and I was desperate to get into television, and it's all I wanted to do, either as a director or as an actor, because I would see people like Nicholas Lyndhurst on the telly in sitcoms, like Only Fools and Horses or Butterflies, I think it was in, and things, and I thought, I want to do that kind of thing. I want to do comedies or light-hearted comedy and fun stuff. And because now I'm so very pleased that my career never happened in there, because I'd have been on that mainstream lying machine as part of the system, and all these people in the audience here, and no doubt those people there would want to stab me or something.
Only if you hadn't spoken your truth.
Well, that's, yes, I suppose to. But
They've all still had a choice,
they have.
haven't they?
Yes. I did get a kids' TV show in the mid-90s, which was a slapstick comedy, a 10-minute slapstick comedy on children's ITV, which was effectively Laurel and Hardy in spacesuits, called Snug and Cozy. And doing that, and we made a pilot and we sold it to them, the idea, and we did this thing. And I learnt through doing 2 series of that how backstabbing, conniving, narcissistic bastards that they are in television. Not the crew, you know, the technicians and the crew know their stuff, and they're great. But it's the powerful people above that in the sort of executive offices who were the complete conniving nasties.
Yeah.
And then after that, I realised that that's not what I wanted to do. But at that time, then YouTube was just coming on stream, and I realised I could go straight to the audience, but I didn't have any money to do the kind of things I wanted to do. And then the Bald Explorer was born, wandering around the countryside going, that's a nice tree, that's a nice tree, oh, she's a nice girl, I'll have her on the show.
What was your favourite TV show that you did that you were an extra on?
Gosh, I used to be in The Bill. I did a lot of the Thames Television The Bill, and of course everyone will recognise me as the white shirt behind frosted glass at the end of the corridor. You see, they all remember. Yeah, I saw that little flash. That was me. So I did a lot of that. The Bill had this theory that they would have that Sun Hill Police Station, although you got the main cast, you would have this background cast that you would get familiar with. That was the idea. So we'd dress up as policemen in the background of the show. I mean, occasionally we'd have the odd line, like, here it is, Sarge, and things like that. No, I didn't, Sarge. You couldn't say more than 6 words, because if you said more than 6 words, it became a Category 1, and that meant...
More pay.
More pay, exactly. And they didn't want to do that. But if you could ride a bicycle, or drive a car, or ride a horse, or stand on one leg, it seemed, they called that special skills.
Special skills. Did you ever lie on your CV and say you could do something that you couldn't do?
I know, I've never had a CV.
Oh, you never had a CV?
I've never had a CV. Not for that sort of work. But I did do a bit of driving some of their cars, and dressing up as a policeman was the most hilarious.
Policewoman? I thought you just said dressing up as a policewoman.
Yes,
Did
that
you
was my
say that?
main role. Did you not realise? No, a policeman. And I think it was the first, I'm trying to think back because this goes back to the sort of late 80s and early 90s. The first time I did the Bill, we were filming in a dodgy bit on location in a dodgy part of London, and there was this whole scene that was taking place on an estate, and they wanted at the right point this squad car with the blues and twos flashing to come screeching in. Now, I wasn't driving in there. This chap called Ricardo and I were sitting in this car, but we had to be out of the area on a busy road, waiting to go into this estate. So if you were walking along, you had no notion there was any filming going on, and you saw this police car with 2 policemen in. And because everything had to look authentic, everything looked authentic. It was a very hot day, and we were waiting and waiting, and people would come up and ask us, "Excuse me, can you tell us how to get to so-and-so?" Or otherwise, they would like look at you and go, "There's the scum, you know, there's the pigs." They're all. And I really felt the hatred for the police. But it was, as I say, it was this hot day, and they would say on the radio, we had a radio, so you couldn't see the film crew, and then you'd get this, "Okay, we'll probably be about another half an hour, so can you just stand by?" So we're like standing by, and it's hot, we take off our hats, unclip the tie, take the jackets off, we're sitting in the car like this. And people are walking past thinking, "I'm paying my taxes for this." So it was quite fun from that perspective. And there was another, it's gone completely out of my head, another interesting time. But it was good fun. I did that, I must have done that for about 8 years or something. It was ridiculous.
Really?
The Bill. But I did all sorts of programmes. I did an episode of Lovejoy, Campion, Poirot. I was always like policemen or army soldiers. So I was in Poirot, and David Suchet was a method actor. So he would stay in character all the time, and you'd see him in the canteen, and he'd be there with his little moustache, eating like yes, the little grey cells and the little grey food. Whereas Philip Jackson, he was such a laugh, because he was the policeman, wasn't he, the Inspector Jupp, and he would just have a laugh with us dressed up in the police outfit, and you know, "All right, Poirot," and he would come over and he'd just tell us lots of dirty jokes, really, and we'd all be laughing, and all of that. And we did do a Poirot in Brighton. One episode, they were filming in either the Metropolitan or the which is the one that got blown up that nearly killed Maggie, the Grand. Thank you very much. It was one of those on the seafront, and they had a bunch of extras, and they filmed this in November, and it was really cold. But it was supposed to be in June. So they're filming inside this hotel room, about 4 stories up, with the camera just going out the window. So they captured a tiny bit of the prom, which is some distance from the hotel. And this tiny bit was about, I suppose, 100 foot you could capture. So the normal people are walking around huddled up in their jumpers and in modern day stuff. This is a period drama. And then there's a bunch of people dressed up in swimming costume, 1930s, who are freezing their nuts off, with 2 third assistants with walkie-talkies going, "Okay, stand by now." And then it would be, as soon as they did the camera, the dialogue up in the hotel is going on, you could just glimpse down, and we're walking. And I was in one of those sort of strongman type, you know, 1930s things like this, with a ball going doing, doing, doing. And we must have been doing this for hours, freezing, and then, okay, cut. And then we'd all get the coats on and go, "Oh my God," and get cups of tea, and then we had to come back. So yeah, it was very funny. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Very much, because I also spoke to the cameramen and the lighting men, because I would say, "I noticed you put a light there. Why have you put it there?" Because I was just fascinated about the filming process.
You were fascinated.
Sorry, I was
behind
waffling on a lot
behind
about
the
that.
scenes as well, and which has obviously helped you now. We were talking earlier, weren't we, and saying
Yeah.
about how you have to wear all the hats now.
You do, especially in this. I mean, in the game of streaming internet or making your own channel on YouTube and stuff, you learn on the job, and all of that has really helped with what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Do you? You're kind of famous now,
No,
I would say,
no.
within the
hope
freedom
not.
movement.
I know it's a
There is an
weird-
element of fame
Is there?
within the freedom movement, I would say, wouldn't
Okay.
you? I mean, most people know you. Woo! Do you think fame within the freedom movement is different to what it's like out there in the mainstream?
Well, it makes you appreciate what famous people have to go through.
Yeah.
Because they can't go anywhere. At least outside in the normal world, I very rarely get approached. Occasionally, someone will go, "Oh, you're the YouTube man, or something like that, which is quite hilarious. But if we go to an event, and then everybody treats you like you're a movie star, which is very bizarre because I just like this. I have a camera and I switch it on and I give people my terrible opinions, and then I'll get on and do the washing up or whatever it is, your normal life. But people perceive you so differently, and it's very strange. So you do an event and everybody comes up and says, "Oh, Richard, I watch your channel and I listen to everything you do." And you think, "Oh gosh, that's very, what have I done to deserve that?" Then you go in the street and it's, "Oh, okay, you can't park there, mate. Yeah, you have to move over this. Yeah, you do. Get to the back. Who do you think you are, Richard Vobes?"
So it's quite a lovely fame in a way, really, isn't it?
It's a kind of
you
fame
can
you
escape it.
Yes, you can sort of switch it on and off.
You can
in a
switch it
way.
on and off, yeah, depending on where you are.
Where you
and
are,
who you're
yeah.
around. When you have a guest on your show, do you research the topics before you speak to them? Or do you chat with them, find out about it, and then sometimes maybe think, "Oh, I want to delve deeper into that subject. I'm going to look more into that." How do you approach it?
Funny enough, people come out of the woodwork and they say, "Richard, you've got to have so-and-so on the show," or they'll say, "I'd like to come on the show." So initially I chose a few people, but then I haven't had to choose. People have just been sort of saying, "You get me on the show." And I found I'm so busy answering the emails and not so much the comments, but doing other things, that mostly it's a wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
So I don't really do much research, because also I think when I started talking about the stuff that I talk about, the platform escalated like nobody's business, and I wasn't expecting that at all. The way I approach it is, I think, for those people who don't know this person who's very clever with or knowledgeable on this particular subject, it's their chance to get to a reasonably large audience. So I don't have any preconceived, I don't do too much. And then afterwards, sometimes I'll get people say, "Oh, you should have done your homework on him, you shouldn't have had that person on your show," or whatever. And I go, well, it's down to the audience to make up their mind.
Absolutely. You're talking about censorship then, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
and then I'll get people saying, "Oh, you should have so-and-so because they're on all the, big names."
Yeah.
And I think, well, what about those that don't have a chance, who, get them on?
Yes. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
so mostly I've had people who are a bit obscure. And I don't know whether that's, for me it's been a good thing because I've learnt so much from them.
Yeah. Yes, I bet you have. Yeah, you've had some fantastic guests. If you could have any guest, dead or alive, who would you have?
Dead or alive?
Oh, dead
Gosh.
or alive.
Well, I suppose I'd go back to, I would actually have to go back to my sort of entertainment roots. I mean, there would be so many I could, I would have Laurel.
Right, you can have a few. You can have more than
Laurel
one.
and Hardy, I would definitely have. I'd love to have a conversation with Stan Laurel. That would be, it's another fine mess. I once wrote to Norman Wisdom.
Oh, I love Norman Wisdom.
Mr. Grimsdale! Mr. Grimsdale! I once wrote to him and he wrote back from a theatre, and I was 20 at the time, and I was saying, how do I break into it? And he said, just keep performing. Doesn't matter where it is, charity events, anything, just keep performing. And then later on I was on a gig at it was a gardener's exhibition type place, and he came with a little entourage of people, and he was going around. He was quite old at the time, and I thought, gosh, here's a man I've watched and idolised and what have you. I wanted, and I was performing, and he was as near to me as you are, but he was surrounded by a bunch of other old people who'd obviously grown up with him during the 50s and 60s. And so I just stepped back because I didn't feel the professional etiquette was to go up when there were other people who wanted to talk to him. So I missed that one. Terry Thomas, I say, I'm so sure. I'd love to have a conversation with him. Margaret Rutherford. I mean, there's all these old Alistair Sim,
You're
so
talking
I
about
just
the
go back
greats,
to
aren't
comic
you?
roots, really.
Yeah.
Some of the carry-on people, Kenneth Williams,
Oh,
no, he's not mucking about. All of those, just love it.
Fabulous. Okay. So if when you have a subject and you are researching it, say, how do you decide whether you believe in something or not? Do you look for the facts, or do you trust your intuition?
Well, it's definitely the trust your intuition.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I ring up Klaus Schwab and say, Klaus, what do you reckon about this? Do you think that's true? The process of waking up, people often ask me, what was the process of waking up? And I kind of feel I was awake to some stuff, instinctively would think that's just not right. Because I used to do this podcast in 2005 for about 6-7 years, which was an audio podcast. And I remember somebody emailing in saying, everything's going to change with this man-made global warming. And that was the first time I'd heard this thing. And I had my little show, which was a sort of comedy show, and I was going, man-made global warming? There's no such thing. It's a complete load of rubbish. Because I didn't believe it right there and then. I thought, this is nonsense. We're not contributing that much to the stuff when you compare it to volcanoes and all of these sort of things. And I got slated by the audience, and they were saying, no, there's definitely, it's all going to happen. I said, but we've just been told there was going to be an ice age. Hang on, they keep
the
chopping
ice age,
and bloody
then the acid rain,
all
then
of
the
these
hole
things.
in the ozone.
The ozone, and we ought to change our fridges and all of that. And then the millennium bug, and, it was all kind of rubbish, really. And it just seemed nonsense. But people were kind of very serious about all of this. So when I first started, and I sat in my chair about 2 years ago now, and I started to talk about these things, is the nice, kind, generous, benevolent government, really trying to kill us? And people were going, yeah, Richard, they are. They are. It's like, are they? Are they really? Are they really trying to have a look at this? And so they'd send me and Julia down the rabbit holes, and we would go, oh my God, we're all going to die a horrible, agonising death. That's it. And then I started to get a bit, hang on a minute. No, they're not. Why should they? Why have they got the right to do this? And I was sort of angry. I'm not sure everybody goes through this sort of... And then you pull yourself up. And in that process, I was reading quite a bit. And, of course, I was having guests on the show. And I just took the stance that whatever they say, have an open mind. Don't close off to it. And in the past, I might have been much more forensic with them and say, well, what do you mean by that? Surely that can't happen. But this time I was going... No, I will listen to what they have to say. The platform is theirs. I have an hour with that individual, and that was a lot of my learning was from them. And then I might follow it up. But did it resonate with me? Most of it does, not all of it. I think we're being misled. I think that a lot of the freedom people who are critical thinkers and can use common sense, I think they knew that there would be, whatever the percentage is, 10% of the population, they could never dumb down and would agree to line up on a suicide thing. And so they need things for us to be occupied and diverted from. And I think there's a lot of things that we're all looking at, and we're trying to wake other people up, which they'll never wake up to, because all of that is for us to be diverted as well. But which ones those are, I can't necessarily tell you, because everybody has a different,
Yeah.
It's the old flat Earth, circular Earth type scenario.
Yeah.
And then I think, isn't it interesting that they always give you choice A or choice B? What about choice C? That
Or
there's
D or
something
E.
else.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And the same with like the legal thing, how do you plead? Do you plead guilty or not guilty? Well, maybe there's another way of saying there's no case to answer, so I don't need to plead one way or another. And I started to realise, oh yeah, we're always given these, particularly two sort of choices. It's like with, do you have Labour or Tory?
It's a false sense of
And you
democracy.
go, well, they're
isn't it?
both the same. Maybe you should not vote at all. Maybe that's an answer. But we're always guided. So I think there's a lot of misinformation.
A lot of misinformation, absolutely. With regards to Convid,
Oh, yeah.
that old Convid,
The old convict.
the old
yeah.
Convid, what do you actually think it is? Do you think it's actually a virus? Do you think it's snake venom? Do you think it's just a great big hoax? Have you even made your mind up? Because there's so many with regards to that. There are so many different opinions out there.
Absolutely, and I mean, I'm not fixed on anything, but this is where I favour this idea that in 2019, older people were encouraged to take the flu jab. And I think that in the flu jab was something that made old people ill in the January, February, March time of 2020, so that when this idea that there was a pangolin that had mated with a bat that knew an orangutan that had a mate who flew around with a pterodactyl, whatever it was, and somehow this was getting over to humans, or men and women, depending on the words that you want to use. I think now that the virus, which they've not been able to isolate and demonstrate and hold in their hand and say, there it is, look, crawling around, look at that, don't get that up your nose. Because they haven't been able to isolate it, I think now those that were ill had been poisoned by the flu jab to give the illusion that there was this thing called COVID and that people would panic. And so you've got problem, reaction, solution, and then at the speed of science, this remarkable thing of an untested new mRNA thing that could be injected into you, which in 2021 seems to have made people go a bit odd and collapse and many die. So I think the COVID itself was a con.
Yeah.
But the killer is what's been injected into people.
Yeah, interesting. Because I find the germ theory, terrain theory, a very interesting topic. Do viruses even exist? Have you even thought about that? Have you looked at? Well,
I've had various guests on the show who talk about exactly that, and I do tend to agree that germs are, well, they may be there, but they don't affect you in the way that we're told they are, that viruses... they did this with the Spanish flu in the 1920s or 1918, whenever it was around, where they had patients who supposedly had this influenza, and then they were sort of gobbing on one another and taking, all this sort of saliva, trying to make people infected, and they couldn't do it. Yeah. They couldn't do it. So the fact that this thing is airborne and all this sort of nonsense, I think is complete rubbish. I think that you get ill by having eaten or had injected into you a toxin, and that the body, when you're ill, is trying to deal with that toxin, so we get flu-like symptoms.
So they're exosomes rather than viruses.
Yeah.
Yeah, the body is trying to expel the toxin.
Absolutely. So I'm more with the terrain theory.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me too. Totally with the terrain theory. So had you had any vaccinations before COVID? Was it something that you just generally did, or were you wary of them before?
I think I had a tetanus when I had my adenoids and my tonsils out when I was 10. And I may have had something when I had my eye removed, mostly a pain relief thing, because otherwise that would have been painful when they're using a spoon to scoop your eye out. But I've never liked medicines.
Okay.
My dad hated pills, and so I was brought up not really taking pills, and I hadn't really made any connection to that. I just thought, if I don't have to take them, I won't take them. But I was on steroids for a while when I was having my eye issue, and I blew up like the Michelin Man. And if anyone wants to see an image of me grossly fat, if you put in the words Vobes, podcast and Exeter into YouTube,
Everyone's going to be doing that now as soon as they get home.
You will see a grossly fat individual. And the weird thing about that, and anybody who's been on, I think it's Prednisolone, whatever it's called. That's the stuff. You basically have sort of just have this massive layer of water that is protecting you like a protective thing. It was only here that I needed it, but everywhere else. And it makes your skin feel weird and it's horrible. And what was the point I was going to make? Oh, you don't notice it. You know you've put on a bit of weight. And it was only several years later when I look back. Cheers. When I look back, there was somebody throwing up in the background. They checked out that video. Oh, my God. It was only when I looked back I realised just how grossly fat I was. And thank God I hadn't really got that idea of it, because I wouldn't have dared to go out, and I was making videos and all these things. It's funny how your own self-perception is changed.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you've always, it's just from your father, you've just always been a bit sort of wary of taking
Yeah, so I immediately
pharmaceuticals.
wouldn't have taken the vaccine.
Right.
No way.
No way, not touching
And
it.
anyway, we were told, even if the whole thing had been true, we were told right from the start it was only for those over 80s. And what's his name in the ill-fitting suit? What was his name? The other guy, not Valance, the Whitty.
Whitty.
Yeah, Chris Twitty.
Chris Twitty.
He told us on the first day, didn't he? He says, don't panic, this is just for the over 80s and nobody will really get ill. And then the next day, somebody had obviously given him a scolding, changed the script. No, we're all going to die and everyone will have to eventually take it. And then I thought, well, that's proof. Because, you don't suddenly...
That's sus.
That's sus.
That's sus.
And you don't weld people into their houses and all of that like the Chinese state circus was doing.
No, not when the best things for you are exercise, fresh air,
I
and
know,
vitamins.
the whole thing is just so
vitamin D
laughable.
from the sun. It is totally bonkers. But it's really strange because within one family you can have different members of the family with totally opposing views.
Yes.
What sets us apart? Why? Why us? Why everybody in this room? Do you have a sort of theory as to why we have escaped the indoctrination?
I suppose there's lots of different ways of tackling this, because you could say on one level it could be a spiritual thing, that we've been planted here to do the work we're doing, and we're waking up in different ways, but we instinctively know that something's not right. And some people are non-playing characters, as it were. It is difficult when they're in your own family and they cannot, and you're desperately saying to them, but logic, common sense, use your bloody head.
Can't you see it?
Can't you see it? Yeah. And that's very hard. I mean, my oldest son, he can't see it. Mind you, he went to university, you see. I left school at 15, and I think there is a correlation between not
that
being
higher
indoctrinated.
education, it's just that last uni really is the nail in the coffin, I think.
And so he thinks I'm a complete loony, but he did say, when I started talking about it, he did say, well, fleece them for everything you can. Because he said there's a lot of money to be made in conspiracy theories. And I said, Stan, that's not what I'm doing it for. And it's like, but... Interestingly...
But I'm really proud of you, Dad, for fleecing them.
Yeah. Keep earning the money, Dad, if you can. But interestingly, that is an astute observation, because I do think there is a lot of people who jump on the bandwagon.
Con artists, yeah.
And, that's what happened. I was starting to realise that there are a lot of people they've seen it as an opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
They may be good in what they're doing, but they kind of also are seeing it to make money.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people in the truth movement that aren't making any money.
And absolutely. And there's a lot of people who are suffering, and anybody who's doing anything that helps other people suffer, in my opinion, is terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you've firsthand you've had that having to deal with your son. Anybody else in your family that you've
my other
found
two,
it hard?
my daughter Georgie and my other younger son Billy, are a little more awake. Billy, I would say, is more ambivalent. He sort of is. He wouldn't take any more. They've all had the jabs. So, I'm expecting any time to have a little bit of myocarditis sent to me, or one of those, those things out the veins that you do. So there's from your son. Oh, thanks, Dan. That's nice.
They may have had a placebo.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they'll be fine until they snuff it. It's so callous, isn't it? The thing is, you've got to kind of laugh at it a bit, I think, and it is macabre.
Yeah.
And I suppose my spiritual understanding of who I am and where we all go is ultimately we don't really die.
Yes, yeah.
So even though I've
totally.
kind of, they're my nearest and dearest, and with the exception of the lovely Julia, who I don't want to die quite yet because I enjoy her company. And
That's nice to know.
she cooks well too. Is that if they do go, and nobody wants their children to go before them, nobody wants to be doing that. It's just, I don't think that they go as in that's it, finito.
Yeah.
But
so how do you see it? Are we asleep? Is this asleep, and when we die we wake up and we become who we really are? Is that how you kind of see it?
what, life, the universe, and everything?
Yeah, life, the universe.
Gosh.
Why are we here?
Okay, you want to go down that road?
Yeah, come on.
So my feeling is all I can tell you is I am some form of consciousness. I can't tell you what I am. I just am aware that I'm peering out of a body, but I don't feel I'm always in this body. And that this body, as a lot of people say, is just a meat suit. You're wearing it for a period, but you know, at night time, I don't feel I'm in the body. When I'm asleep, I'm somewhere else and dreaming and what have you. I don't think that's the activity of the brain.
Have you ever astral planed? Have you ever been on the astral plane?
I've aquaplaned, but
Aquaplaned?
that's slightly different, isn't it? And nearly crashed. But other than that, the astroplaning, I haven't. No, I would. You know, I have lain awake many times, going, "Come on, just jump out, just for a bit, just for a laugh. Come on, let me look down at myself and float off out the window." All of that, and I haven't managed to do that. But the imagination, intuition, I don't think that's in here, in this sort of thing. I think that our spirit, soul, whatever it is, the awareness of the thing, is we're in this body, and everything else is not real. So I think all of this is just an illusion to a degree.
Matrix.
I don't like the word Matrix.
like
I've
that?
never seen the film, The Matrix, and
okay.
I don't really know what Matrix would mean. I think that this is kind of, it's a learning curve. It's an experience. It's a bit like the Star Trek holodeck, where you can do, but we're kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
And so death doesn't frighten me. Pain is annoying.
Yeah.
But even though I might get toothache from time to time or hurt your finger, whenever that happens now, I try to remove myself from the pain. So I don't inhabit the pain in this world. And I think that's possible. And there's some pain that takes you by surprise and is so searing, it's very hard to sort of remove yourself from it. But I do try to do that with minor pain. And I think there comes a threshold in which you no longer feel the pain. And I think when you die, you carry on. It's just a different thing. I don't know that you go anywhere. See, I don't think, like we were talking about with the round earth and the flat earth, I don't think there is another place other than we're all here.
Okay.
I can't tell you where here is, but we're all here. I think everything else is just an illusion. But while we're here, we may as well make the best of it. And the other thing is, I think we're here to be creative.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's how we thrive.
Yeah.
And that's why they give people boring jobs, and they give you routine and 9 to 5.
Yeah. And they try and get rid of all the creativity out of children.
Yeah. And
school.
children are alive and they're in the moment, and they are imaginative, and they can play games, and it doesn't matter if you give them 2 sticks. Yeah. And what we have done is we have taken children and said, here is a realistic plastic version of real life. Like, you know, you can't now just build Tracy Island. You have to have a company make it perfect.
Yeah,
It's got to look, you know, you've got to have Nike jeans, whatever these things are called.
Trainers.
Thanks. You know, everything's got, and I think we've taken away that whole imagination
Yeah.
and fun by the whole commercial thing, and I think that all, you know, all goes into all of what the deep state, the globalists, the Freemasons, the Satanists, the Luciferians, etc., have done. And yet you watch, you know, little kids, and they are alive before they get taken to school, and then trained not to be alive. And we should be, I mean, you know, in the Bible, I don't know the Bible very well, but there is, you know, be like little children. And we forget how beautiful this world is that we are destroying. We're not destroying it, we're trying to keep it. But that humanity overall, you know, the corporations and these dead entities are just destroying the wonder and magic of nature, which is so amazing, and yet, in my theory, doesn't exist. But it's there, and when you know, and so it's this very deep experiencing stuff, which is very important. But we're not supposed to be I see. We shouldn't be experiencing fear. I don't think that is something that we should be feeling at all.
I don't. I'm like you. I don't.
Well, I still get it occasionally when one of these letters comes with a big summons and stuff, and I think, oh, not another one. Okay, here we go, back to the chessboard.
It's more that's more of an annoyance, though.
It is, yeah.
You're not really frightened.
No,
because as you say, at the end of the day, whatever happens here in this this isn't real.
No, yeah, no. It's the tedium of it.
Yeah,
which they're very good at.
So, are you? I sense you're not very religious in a sense that you don't follow a religion.
Not an organised religion, no.
But just spiritual, very spiritual.
Yeah, I mean, it's and I don't really talk about it much in the podcasts and in the interviews, and you know, I'd get somebody else to say their thing, because I think we all will interpret our own spiritual journey so differently, and the fear would be when you talk about it, somebody will say, well, I don't see it like that. It's like this. You're an idiot for thinking that, or whatever it is. I think it's such a personal awakening to ourselves that you know, we can listen to lots of different people, and one of the things is, I suppose, we've got to work it out for ourselves.
Yeah.
The less materialistic we are, and the less commercialized we are, the better, and the more connected to the planet. Even though, I keep coming back to this idea that everything's not real, because the only thing I can tell you is real is my awareness.
Yeah.
Because everything else is, you know, as much as I love the lovely Julia, I can't really tell you that she's real. That really irks her. That really irks her. But you know, because I've only got this one player character, which is, you know, my perception.
Yeah.
But all the time I'm in this domain, this realm, whatever it is, if this beautiful young lady wants to spend her time with me, I would thrive on that, because it pleasures me so much to have the relationship we have.
Oh, that's so lovely. You mentioned that children are very good at living in the now. Have you always lived in the now, rather than your mind worrying about other things, or is that something that you've become aware of?
You know, we grow up, don't we, and we forget the magic of the world, and we forget the magic of life, and you can't spend all the hours in the now, because you've got to plan for the future, and you've got to think, where's the next penny coming in, where's the next food coming in. But I try as hard as I can to be in the now, but I think there's different tiers of what you would class as, because we worry about things we've done, and you can't do anything about that.
But it doesn't exist.
It does no longer. It's the moment is always here. So
Yeah.
what I did yesterday, and then somebody will come back and say, "Oh, you did this," and it's like, well, prove it. How do you know I did that? Well, I've got these pictures and what have you. I mean, now we're very lucky because anything you can say, well, that was done by AI, I think, Mr. Policeman, driving down the motorway, you said I was speeding. Well, prove that was me, because I think that's just an AI image, isn't it? But then we worry about what's going to happen tomorrow, and we don't really know that it's going to happen. A lot of those things that we did think might happen do often happen, of course. Those letters from the bailiffs, or the fact that the bank account is less in the New Hope. Mm-hmm. But if we spend, we can prepare for things, and I think that's right and proper to prepare for things. But if we spend our time going, oh my God, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? Oh, I can't. If you keep worrying about something, you need to sort of go, okay, so somebody might knock on the door. They might say, I'm going to take your van away and all that. You can go, okay, I'm going to mitigate all of that. That's all right. Don't worry. I'm going to mitigate all of that. And then there's no need to worry about it, because if you've done your best, then go back to the, spending time with your loved ones and enjoying life as much as you can.
Yeah. So you are having visits from the bailiffs. Is that something?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
I mean,
just letters.
My last lot was in a year ago, and I don't have so many love letters from them.
Is this for council tax?
Council tax. No. I always said to the council, I'm happy to pay it, and I tried to pay it with the bill of exchange, and then they weren't having it. So I said, oh, okay, don't worry. If you send me the financial instrument I sent you, send it back to me, and then I'll pay another way. And they kept not sending me this thing back. And then they eventually, and I kept saying, well, but I'll pay you. I keep telling you I'll pay you, but just send this thing back. So to me, it was like, they'd said, you owe us this. And I said, okay, here's a gold bar. And them saying, oh, we don't accept gold bars. And so that's me then saying, okay, fine, I'll give you your fiat currency or whatever, but can I have my gold bar back first? And them going, no. So I thought, well, if you don't give me my gold bar back, I'm not going to give you any more. I'm not going to throw money after bad. So with this financial instrument, which, was basically my signature in the same way a mortgage is created, as we all understand now, they didn't do it. So in the end, I sent them an invoice for the amount of my financial instrument, which is what they asked for. Because I said, well, because it's all commerce, I just said, well, here's an invoice. And then I got a summons, and they sent me this summons. And so then what I did was, and I saw the summons, and it was a typical fake summons from the council. So I wrote 3 letters. I wrote to the council, and I said, here, I think there's a scam going on. I think somebody in the council, or someone in pretending to be the council, has sent me this summons, because it's not from the court, because I've contacted the court, they have no record of it. So, and it's not on court paper, and it's not signed by a judge, and all of this, and all these things, and the crest is wrong, blah, blah, blah. So I sent that to the council. Then I wrote to the court, and I said to the court, here, I think there's a scam going on, because somebody, and it looks like it's the council, are sending out pretend summons, which obviously is against the law. So I thought you might want to know about that, because it's not on the paper and it's not on this and all of that. Then I also wrote to the Attorney General, and I said, here, I think there's a scam going on. And I said, it's weird, because on this fake summons, I don't know who sent it to me, because it's not signed, it's asked, the claimant has asked the defender, that's me, to go and talk to the claimant before I can go to court. I said, that can't be right, can you? So I said, imagine that being a murder. That's like, I'm accused of murdering somebody, and the victim is saying, you've got to ask me before you can go to court to defend yourself. So I said to the Attorney General, the law has got to be done, hasn't it? And it's got to be seen to be done. So surely I'll leave it up to you guys to sort that out. That can't be right. Never heard a thing.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant.
So the day elapsed that I was supposed to turn up, or what they wanted me to elapse, and then presumably you would get the liability order. I've never had it.
Fantastic. Hope we're all taking notes.
Because I just thought, it's a scam. I'm telling all the authorities that I know, especially the higher ones, saying, you should know this. It's a scam. And I heard nothing from any of them. Now, I don't know what happened. Maybe they put a lien on my house. I don't know.
I bet you won't hear from them. I bet you won't.
It'd be interesting to see. The other thing is that one of my viewers pointed out to me, he said, I've been taken to court for this liability order, for the council tax bill. It came in on March whenever it did, 2024. But you look at it, and it says from the period of the thing is due for the 1st of April to the 31st of March 2025. 2025 has not yet come. So why am I paying it now? Surely they would be chasing the money after I've had the service. And I thought, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have to pay this until I've had the service. I haven't had the full service yet until March next year. Thanks very much. But the Victoria Chapman one is the best one. Send them or ask for an invoice, because they can't.
Fantastic.
But the other thing is, I always gave them their number, their DUNS number. I looked up the DUNS number, and I always just say to them, oh, by the way, here's your DUNS number. I know. So I was just telling them, I know your game.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think I'm going to have to hand over to the audience now, Richard. I've been told that I need to hand over. We have questions and answers.
Okay.
So, anybody, I can't see anyone, so put your hands up if you would like to ask Richard a question.
I just want a real funny story about Richard and the Capri, and he found his sort of stumbled across a film set. Sorry. Is that right? So I was walking up the river. So we're local boys and girls, be. You're Worthing, aren't you? And I'm out here in Southwick. And I was walking up the river with the dog. And I've got two policemen walking towards me on the riverbank, fully armoured, with, almost in riot shields, they've got bullet jackets and everything. And there's a good morning, Mum, and I've gone, we've gone to America. So, have you seen an armed gunman? I've gone, no. Should I have? Well, we're looking for two armed gunmen. So, what route have you done? So I used to do the figure of 8 up by the river before they blocked the river. There's the fields there up by the, do you know opposite Lancing College? Do you know what I mean?
Not really.
No, okay, so I used to do this figure of 8 walk, and as I'm walking back, there's these two guys in full cami gear, lying in long grass, only I could see them really easily, and I've just gone, just to let you know, boys, there's armoured police looking for you. And as I drove out, I've gone up by the cement works, it's easier to turn around, and there's 3 armoured police units up and down that river, and I thought, that is bloody hysterical. Anyway, I warned them. Whether they got back to their getaway car, which I also saw in the lay-by down the road, but yeah, anyway, that was it, really.
Well, thank you very much for that.
I think it was funny.
Thank you.
I don't know what mine was.
Anybody else? We got one over there. Fabulous.
Hello, Richard.
Hello.
My name's Judith.
Hello, Judith.
And I used to live in rural Norfolk, and I had an 8-bedroom farmhouse.
Oh, lovely.
Until 10 years ago.
Ah.
And I used to be part of the permaculture system. And Bank of America took my farm from me by force on the 10th of January 2014. And they broke my youngest son's ribs and the babies. So since that, I've gone down the rabbit hole very, very deeply. And I would say that I'm now a solid activist against the evil system. And I'm doing my best one-to-one to about 14, 15 people a month, and imparting my knowledge that I've learned.
one of the things I've learned that I haven't done, I haven't paid a utility bill lawfully in the last 9 years.
Well
Wow.
done. Wow.
Despite Brighton and Hove taking me to court 4 times, 3 times in the main court and once in Worthing, and I just walked the court with the documents that I made myself.
Good for you.
Wow.
If you want any help.
Oh, bless you. That's lovely. Well done. Fantastic.
That is amazing.
That really is.
You do hear these horrific stories in
Yeah.
which, as the lady just said, Judith, was it? Said, you know, that your house is just taken away. And obviously, we haven't got time to find out all the details, but when you hear that, you just think, gosh, how do people get up from that?
With a lot of fight.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Judy's done. That's amazing. So inspiring. Yeah, to have gone through that.
Richard, I'm John.
Hello, John.
Big fan of the Board Explorer back in the 2010s, and I wondered, do you miss those days at all? And may the Board Explorer come back?
So I do miss those days, because I've spent 2 years sitting pretty much at home in lights like we've got here, talking to some amazing people, whereas prior to that, for 6 years, I was wandering around the countryside with the lovely Julia. We were making videos. We would do van life videos and we went on boat trips and we would explore the countryside. And one of the reasons for doing it was I guess I've hinted at it already, blown away by the beauty of nature. And historically, some of our amazing buildings, and you know, humble buildings, small rural countryside churches, timber frame buildings, and all of that, and the whole sort of historic thing. It doesn't help now that we all learn that everything we've been told about history is a complete lie. But I did enjoy exploring all of that, and of course I was a lot more healthy, I think, because I was walking about in the fresh air, in the sunshine. And now I'm aware that 2 years of sitting around in a studio with LED lights, which are not good and not healthy, trying to sort of talk to people about things is not good. And so I would very much like to go back to getting into nature. But Julia and I are looking for a piece of land, and having milked cows now, we would like to have a small number of cows, some pigs, some chickens, some bees, and actually experience the whole growing thing, and that sort of world and life that man and woman did very early on, which seems to be the most important thing, of that connection, of being connected to the earth and being connected to the ground. And we have the advantage of modern technology, as long as we're always on top of that and we're not abusing it. And so I would like to explore that and tell that story, learning all the things and using the skills as a filmmaker, so that if the roof has got a leak in it and it's pouring with rain, it's quickly grab the camera, let's capture this and make it fun for the viewer, even though we're freezing cold, getting wet, and the cows have escaped. You know.
So that's something that everyone can look forward to. That's coming
that's
up,
it.
guys. Excellent.
A sort of a non
bit like The Good Life.
Bit like
It's gonna be like The
yes,
Good
a bit
Life.
like I was going to say, unlike Clarkson's Farm, which a lot of it is planned, and he's always got the film crew, a less scripted version of that, but more genuine.
Yeah, lovely. Fantastic.
Thanks. Okay, don't call me an amateur. I think a lot of people know this already, but I've been driving for 1 year. I just would like to ask, what is the best way to deal with or ignore a parking fine? I don't mind who answers.
So what? You've got a parking fine.
Just no comment.
I have one. Nothing's been sent through my post as of yet. I don't know if they will or not, but
Well, that's it. If you haven't got, if you've got,
I have.
if you haven't got
I ha-
anything as yet, how do you know?
I will do. I don't mind it. I'd like to make some contacts.
My,
I've already dealt with the Dartford crossing, okay? They were fine with it.
So I'm not the expert on all of these things. I have the experts on the show.
Yeah.
I can only really share what I've done.
Yeah.
And I would hate to be able to tell anybody what they should do.
Yeah.
Because I think the biggest thing that we can do is to learn the system as best we can and work out our own ways to deal with it and circumvent it. Otherwise,
because there are so many avenues, aren't there?
And if you
Lots
just
of
follow
people.
somebody's templates and things, and it doesn't quite work, how are you going to get out of it? But if you haven't even had anything yet, I wouldn't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just speak to some people. Yeah, just a yellow one.
Okay, well, they can, if they know your address, they can come and tow the car away.
Yes.
They've done that to my daughter, and she lost her vehicle, and they sold it, so they can do that. You shouldn't park it where it's registered, so just move it away from where.
Well, I don't spend most of my time.
I'm going to
there
ask you
anyway.
guys to take that conversation outside in a minute. And we've got another question for Richard. That's what we need. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Hi Richard, Alison. Chemtrails. I live near Heathrow Airport, so I know what condensation trails are. Obviously, where I've seen them saying they're a new form of cloud because of climate change, the media saying. Obviously, Alzheimer's has gone up. I have seen the ingredients. I know Spain admitted the chemtrails, and I think Germany. I know aluminium and I can't say that word, sorry, and barium are in them. I don't know all the other ingredients. I did have a list somewhere. Obviously, I know some are probably drones. I've seen them myself, where the chemtrails are coming out and where they spread, and they've got to do it really early where I live because the times the flights go for Heathrow. Obviously, the pilots and everybody else will be affected. What's dropping? We've all heard of that Sahara sand on the cars that no way would they kind of like miss out parts of the country and get other. How do we all kind of protect ourselves from that? Do you know what's in them? Because even the people spraying, they're going to be affected and their family.
So what's the question?
Protecting from it, because
how do we protect
How do you
ourselves?
protect yourself from chemtrails?
Well, that's a very tricky thing, isn't it? You could get yourself
What do you do?
a ball, one of these Zubo. What are they called?
Oh, yeah.
Zoobs and
The
Zorb.
Zorb that you
You
run
could
around.
live in one of those and have have control of your environment. I mean, the problem is we are all subjected to this, and
There's
at
no
some
escaping
point
it, is there?
we've got to stop it. And somebody emailed me and said the last thing they'll stop is the chemtrails, because that's the thing they can get us with, and they're dropping all their crap on food, on farming, on us, and everything. But it's a slow death, because we're not dying in the same way as the injections. So we've got to eat as healthily as you can. There are various substances you can have that help get rid of and let the body do what it does best. It wants to get rid of the toxins. So just don't
Keep
abuse.
vibing high.
Yeah, vibe high. But
You're
don't
almost,
over
you're almost
abuse.
untouchable if you're vibing high. So.
But I mean, I don't want to. Well, I'm going to say this, but please don't have a go at me. We in the Truth and Freedom movement think of ourselves as being clever because we know what's going on. And then I'll go and do a talk to a bunch of people, and I'll say, how many of you go to the supermarket still? And 50% will put their hand up. Or how many people are drinking lots of alcohol? I know alcohol is good for you, and so is tobacco, but it depends what type you have. And I'll ask these questions, and then you'll go to a thing, and people are drinking pints after pints, or they're putting in chips, loads of fatty foods, all the wrong foods, and they're going, yeah, I'm into the truth movement, and how can we protect ourselves from all of this? And you think, but look at yourself. What are you really doing?
Are you taking full responsibility?
Are you taking full responsibility, or are you sort of like, oh, I know a bit about what goes on over there, but I'm still shoveling the crap into me? And it is hard. And then there's the whole vibrational thing and keeping your mind as positive as you can. Don't let the negative thoughts get down. So, you know, if we
Do
can't...
the work.
Pardon?
Do the work.
Do the work. You know, to hold yourself up and say, well, you know, I'm in the movement and therefore I'm very clever. But if you're not actually really following the stuff as best you can, for example, somebody sent me an email, and I'm going to investigate this a little bit, that says vitamin D is full of rat poison. Yeah. So you know, on the one hand, we've been going, oh, we better take vitamins, we better take all the vitamins,
Yeah,
and then
you've got to be
someone else
careful
is
which
saying,
vitamins, haven't
hold on a
you?
minute, has a vitamin ever been taken, has it been isolated that you can say that's a vitamin, a bit like the virus? And they're going, oh, God. You just keep turning everything upside down and mixing it. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
But all you can do is follow the best you can. Eat the best healthily, you know, do as much exercise, eat as much, don't sit under artificial lights, and get out into the nature and all those good stuff as best we can, and try not to let the buggers get you down.
There you go. Brilliant. Any other questions?
Hi, my name's Fiona. Just a really quick one. Do you believe in authority?
Well, that's an interesting question, because you'd need to define what you mean by authority. You know, if you could take that to say your creator, whatever the universe or God or whatever it is, you might believe in that, something created us. If you mean government or governance or rules, so there's some, or guidance. I mean, for example, the one I always trope out is, if we all agree to drive on the left-hand side of the road in this country, we ought to avoid collisions. But if you say there's no such thing as authority and you can just drive any way you like, you're going to end up with collisions, and then that's not a good idea. So I think we have to have some rules or some things to live by. And I had an argument with Sovereign Pete once, and I think it was on the show, because he was saying, I'm sovereign, so therefore I can drive at 120 miles down the road, doesn't matter. And I can judge that no one's going to walk out in front of me. And I said to him, but you can't know that. So if you're in the desert or in a place where there's nobody about, yeah, do what you like. But in the town or something, surely there would be certain morals or guidances, they don't have to be written down, that you would collectively agree to, that I'm not going to go 50 miles an hour past a school.
Yeah.
But if you did go 33 miles an hour past a school, or say more than 25 when people are piling out onto the road and you're not being cautious, then if you do that, and it's only by a degree, and there's nobody hurt, and there's no crime, well, so what? If you drive into a bus lane and you're captured by a camera, so what? If nobody was there, and you made a genuine mistake.
Caught in the yellow
Or
box.
you were at a yellow box. I mean, that's where it starts getting a bit stupid. And I was talking to somebody earlier today about a similar thing. In the old days, you could overtake somebody and break the speed limit, and because safety said, you need this idiot in front of you swerving all over, might be a drunken driver, I am safer in front of him than behind him. And so therefore manoeuvring your car, going past the speed limit and getting in front of him would have been a reasonable argument to put forward. But these days, if you're flashed at doing that, it's like, well, you stepped over there, I'm not interested in your excuses, we want the money. And that's where I think we're in the world where they don't give a damn, and so that's why we have to fight back and say, well, we don't give a damn either.
There you go. Fantastic. Thank you.
You don't have to agree with me, by the way. You really don't have to agree.
Have we got any other questions, Emma?
Yeah, I just had a recent little bout of sickness, and the revelation that came to me was that I hadn't been out in natural light for nearly 2 weeks, and then I became sick. And my traditional way of thinking, I caught a flu or whatever. But you're saying about not being in natural light yourself. So how do you think this is possibly one of the reasons why we get sickness? I know that a lot of people think now that it's toxins, but also it could be because we're under these artificial lights a lot of the time.
Well, I say that I'm spending a lot of time under artificial light, not 24/7. So I will go and have a walk down through the park and down to the seafront. What I'm not doing is spending a day marching over the downs that I used to do. And I think if you've not gone outside in 2 weeks, I would seriously worry about your mental health as well, because you know, not getting outside in natural light. It's very difficult these days because of the grey skies. You know, what's the difference between standing outside in the grey?
It's not so much that, it's actually working in the environment without natural light.
Right.
So going straight to work, spending a lot of time at work.
What do you do?
I'm a chef.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the time I'm working under fluorescent lighting and doing long hours, and consequently I got ill, and I think it's not just.
I mean, there's a whole load of things that I would want to ask. There is not only are you under artificial light, but are you eating proper food? Are you taking some exercise when you can? Are you under stress? Are you taking any other substances that may add to that? Are you getting enough sleep? You know, there's a number
of really, I mean, I know you mentioned the rat poison and vitamin D, but there are obviously whole food vitamins and other things that you can take to support your immune system, aren't there?
Yeah, well, I mean, just good quality food would be the thing. And if you're a chef, presumably you know where the food is coming from.
Yeah, that's a worry.
There you go. I mean, the thing is, life gives you a choice, isn't it? And some of the choices, very hard choices, such as you could do a different job. Now, I know that's really callous to say, but it is a choice. We all have that choice. We don't have to do the things. It might mean less money. It might mean that we have to move to a smaller house or whatever. But we do have that choice. Mm-hmm. And just on that, take you a bit further. A lot of people are sort of saying, "Oh, well, I'm not paying my electricity and I'm not paying my water and things," and this is completely unrelated to your thing. But I was talking to somebody, and I said it's interesting because we almost have forgotten that over 100 years ago, many people didn't have running water, and we didn't have electricity in people's houses. And it is only a choice. You don't have to have the electricity, and you don't have to have running water. It's bloody difficult to find running water these days because they've blocked off and culverted things. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to have the crap that comes through the taps, and we don't have to have electricity. It's much easier to do that, but we do always have a choice. It's just life ain't so easy if we go down that route. But when you go camping, if you've ever gone camping, you generally don't, unless you go glamping, you're out there in the field, and it's magic not having all those things and throw your phone away and everything else. Yeah, it is.
Then you miss your bed.
Not in temperatures as it is at the moment, perhaps under canvas, not quite the same.
Oh, fantastic! Well, I think we're going to conclude the Q&A there. So, can we get a massive round of applause for the wonderful Richard Vobes? Thank you so so much, Richard. That
Thank
was
you very much,
absolutely brilliant.
Katy-Jo.
Now over to Emma Dunwell with her interview with Victorious.
The Blockheads, the legendary band that backed Ian Dury, are still going strong and gigging all over Christmas. You can catch them in Southend-on-Sea at Chinnery's on the 22nd of December with support from Freedom Act's Whom by Fire and Trevor John. For tickets and more information, including merchandise, please go to theblockheads.com.
Hi, I'm with the amazing Freedom band Victorious. Just before they go on, I thought it would be a great time to ask them a few questions while they have some food before they perform. So am I right in thinking that you guys started up during the pandemic? If anyone...
Yes.
So did you guys start up because of the lockdowns?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we met before the lockdown. Not before the lockdown, in the lockdown. We met in a park. We'd all congregate in a park, finding each other for the first time. And we did a little bit of flash mobbing. We thought it was an idea to flash mob the train stations with Danse Encore, which will be playing later, I think. So yeah, we took that to the train station and annoyed everybody there, and then we went to the shopping precinct, and yeah, it just sort of developed from there, didn't it? We
People used to run away from us.
Yeah.
We'd go up to London on the train and everyone would run out the carriages.
It's a good advert, that.
It's great, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, this was in the height of the pandemic and everything. I mean, doing that kind of thing, it would be fairly risky. Not only, I mean, people were getting in trouble with the law for not following the lockdown rules, but with just the general public, it must have been a hard thing to contest with.
It helps that the police are rubbish. So when we did the the shopping centre, we did all over town that day, and they were one step behind us all the way.
Yeah,
so we left.
Yeah, they were,
we literally left the shopping centre, and they were walking in the other door, and we had to split up at certain points. So we'd lead them off in a wild goose chase. But it was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the music. We had in Brighton. We had just a community meet up in the park, and we had a homeschool group as well. So we had a tent every Friday. We put a tent up. The kids would come, and then the adults would come, and it was like a little mini festival. It was like the best fun in the middle of lockdown. And yeah, we got the police did come once, didn't they?
I was going to say, did you guys actually get into any trouble for this? Like.
Yeah, but it was so dark. It was so cold and dark, wasn't it? That winter, that they didn't give us much problem, did they? Really, we just sort of walked away in the dark. They couldn't find us. But one of the people who was coming, Caroline, who was in the band, who's left now. She used to bring her guitar and a songbook, and we'd do stupid covers like busking songs and just change the words for a laugh. And then it just sort of grew out of there, and then she bought a little amp, and there was squabbles over who got the mic. It was that kind of thing. It was really, and then we had, so after about 3 or 4 months of that, and then we did the Rialto thing. So that was November. I think that was November 21.
21, yeah.
20 or 21?
21.
It was basically after lockdown. Everyone had been meeting up in the park, but we'd not had a big sort of public meetup. We hadn't congregated, and then we had an event there, and we booked the club, and the 3 bands playing went there, and there was about 200 people, wasn't it? And it was the best gig I ever did up to that point, because it was your tribe, I think a lot of us have been in bands and stuff, and you always feel like not in conflict with the audience, but you never quite know where they're at.
Yeah.
And this was just like family, and we weren't that great, but it just didn't matter. We're all at different levels of skill and experience. So, for example, Vicky hadn't played trumpet since she was 14.
Yeah, I guessed.
Oh, well, then. You might have guessed.
Yeah, you would have guessed then. I just played to my level of ability.
Yeah.
Like about 3 notes in a song.
Yeah. And it was just no one, and you said it you didn't really feel nervous because it was all friends and family, wasn't it? Even though it was like 200 people then, it was just such a good sense of community.
Well, that's what music is supposed to be about. I mean, it's supposed to be uplifting, supposed to make you feel good, make you feel happy. What's your guys' reaction to a lot of popular music now? I mean, the likes of people like Cardi B, you know, I mean, do your part for the greater good, everything like that, and using their influence to push this agenda. Would you say that you guys make your music on the opposite end of that, pushing back and using it more as a protest in your music?
Certainly when we started, I think there was more of an element of that. Yeah, definitely. Whereas now it's
it was, but we never had an audience outside of our community, really, did we? We never had.
We kind of did, because we did gigs on the beach, and
that's true.
so that was
Yeah,
a real eye opener. Some people loved it, and again, some people
we did get
ran away.
Pebbles thrown at us.
I wanted to ask you guys about Brighton, because obviously over the years, the demographic of Brighton has changed and become,
Woke.
for use of a better word, more woke over the years. How has that felt for you? Have you noticed any more pushback than the earlier years?
I think it's always had that element, but just globally it hasn't crystallised like it has in the last few years, that division. So I think it's, although it was a kind of seen as a rebellious town, kind of hippie kind of culture, within that is embedded a whole load of conditioning and brainwashing that has manifested in Brighton as this almost like sort of, you know, dual communities where it kind of split, and I saw it split in some of the alternative communities in Brighton really clearly, where people just started arguing, and you could see people coming over from the kind of hippie new age woo-woo sort of into the maybe more politically aware sort of mindset, and you just saw these arguments about, even before COVID actually, it was ramping up with vaccines, with the climate con, so people were arguing about, and you know, you got all the lefty sort of green people, and then you got people sort of questioning that, and there was already a lot of tension. Brexit was a big one. Yeah, well, that's more recent, isn't it, the trans thing? So it was bubbling up, and then there was COVID, and then you just saw this huge split where, I mean, I found it really fascinating and really interesting. You had a lot of people who weren't realistically, they were more interested in spiritual development.
Yeah. Well, I did want to ask you guys about sort of conspiracy theories in general, because I mean, these days, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're far right, you're this, you're that. It's all one and the same now, isn't it? How far do you guys go with it? So like, if I just throw some conspiracy theories out there, and you guys could just maybe let me know just a rundown of what you think of them. So like Project Bluebeam, Agenda 2030, you know, all this stuff that's going on with Bill Gates. A lot of flat earthers in the freedom movement. You know, I mean, where is your guys' line? Where how far do you go?
But it's not a collective thing, because
I was going to say, do you all agree on the same things, or is there a disagreement on these things?
What we all agree on is sovereignty, and that no one has authority over each other. You know, and that's what I think everyone should be focusing on, because this whole thing is divisive. You know, all these factions.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about flat Earth, but I don't talk about it to put people down. I just talk about it as an example of where I think there's erroneous thinking. Yeah, but we should be able to have that debate, and I like talking about it, because within our community we should be able to discuss things that we disagree on.
Yeah, we should be able to have
without getting
normal
emotional.
debates without it becoming a shouting match.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so that's the problem. I think there's too much wokeness within the truth movement. You know, there's like people are still too like timid about actually, or they haven't learned on an individual level to be mature enough to just have a conversation that doesn't end in confrontation. You should be able to just talk about these things. So for me, that's quite an important thing. I quite, you know, but yeah, everyone's got different opinions on it.
Does anyone else want to share their views on, I know, Bluebeam 2030 and the lights?
They're ramping up now, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Bluebeam, and nobody's buying it.
No. So I've seen so many memes like, the government aren't worried about the drones because they're their drones. The amount of memes that they've made out of this.
You can't beat the British sense of humour though, can you, as well?
Yeah.
Our memes have been absolutely brilliant. They've just kept it going. And that's what's so lovely about Victoria's as well, is all of your parodies and everything. The lyrics, they're so funny.
Yeah.
And you just got to, make light of it. Otherwise it gets too dark and too depressing. You've got to keep the vibe high.
That's an important point, is that the lyrics that we change the lyrics, and it's just meant to be funny and fun and kind of just, not sort of pointing the finger and you're an idiot, if you wear a mask. Although there was a bit of that stuff. But no, that's great. So do you think that sort of folk music, protest music, seems to be coming back around, especially since Labour have taken power again? I mean, there's been that one that got in the charts. I might be getting this wrong, but I think it was by a band called Starmer and the Granny Harmers.
That's right.
Also, is that the one? Yeah, that's it.
Freezing this Christmas. It's very sort of sanitising it, really. It's like one issue. It's like it's okay to have that kind of talk about, the cuts with financial. It's still within the system, and it doesn't really.
Still very shallow.
It's still.
Play it on the mainstream. Yeah, the BBC about
Yeah, but even the fact that they won't play it on the mainstream, you could argue is part of the game. Not to be overly paranoid about it, but it's like they don't mind. For me, it's like they don't care what the conflict is, as long as there's conflict. They if people are arguing about this, that, and the other, and as long as they feel they have some kind of agency, like they can take the piss out of the government. And
it's a way of appeasing people as well, isn't it? And
Everything's
people
virtue signalling
feel,
now.
They're being heard in some way, and they're being listened to, and it is slowly getting out there into the mainstream. They still have complete control over what is shown.
What is your guys' aim with this? Like, do you is your hopes for the future just to carry on playing your music or anything, or is there an actual goal to wake people up to certain things with a particular message, or are you guys just having fun, playing your music, having a great time, and that's that?
I was going to say the goal is to get a roadie.
Roadie in a van. Roadie in a van.
Yeah. Poppy, I've just joined first gig, isn't it? Well, Katy-Jo's done one.
Yeah, then obviously we'll be interviewing
and we really miss the two girls who were singing, Caroline and Emmy. They were really it was definitely a family atmosphere. We love, and it's sad that they're not, but with Poppy and Katy-Jo, it's sort of gone to it's gone slightly different direction, and Katy-Jo knows how to shake her tush in a way that Caroline.
I'll give you a little.
But no, it's good, and also sort of inspired by doing the podcast, so we've worked more on our original. We've been doing original stuff on and off, but it gave us a nice focus to work on. So tonight we're just playing originals. We sort of came together because of the political situation. I think probably the music that actually inspires us and we've loved through our lives isn't necessarily political music. So I think our own stuff isn't so overtly referencing what's going on. It's more talking about the psychological and the spiritual kind of aspect of where we're at. So that's probably what we'll end up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's about it, but not in the same way as when we were changing songs. They were much more in your face sort of thing. So there's more of a subtlety to what we're doing at the moment. And you could probably get away with playing some of it in front of a normal audience. They might twig at some point what it's about, but it's not as obvious.
What made you guys wake up to this and think, I want to put this in my music, I want to send a message to warn other people about this? Was there a specific turning point for any of you?
I think we've probably been writing. I know you'd written songs before COVID, talking about control. About control, that's a good way of putting it. And likewise, I had. So when, really no different from what we were doing before. Because I was lucky enough to read David Icke 26 years ago or something. So my whole adult life has been informed by that perspective. Not that I agree with everything he says, but that changed the way I looked at the world. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. Now we'll go to your live performance at the Royal George.
you don't.
All right, hello everybody. Is Richard still in the house? Is he gone? Wasn't Richard fantastic? A round of applause for Richard. And the lovely Julia. Right, everybody, we're not starting until this no man's land is breached.
Come on.
There we go. This is this speaker needs moving forward. There we go. Right, we're going to start with a song called Stories of Men. We came in from somewhere, or maybe that somewhere's here, or maybe he is not somewhere. Ooh, where anything is ever clear. Well, I promise you that I will look into your eyes if you tell me again all the things I failed to hear when you told me the stories of men, stories of men. Nothing, no vocal. We came in with something so hard to hold. We came in with secrets, oh, secrets that were never told. Well, I promise you that I will look into your eyes if you tell me again all the things I failed to hear when you told me the stories of men, the stories of men. There's no monitor. To think we could be enemies. Nothing coming out. Words swirl in the dark. I took a knife to all that surrounded me. Ooh, I look and I turn my arms to you. I turn my arms to you. I open my arms. We came in from somewhere, or maybe that somewhere's here, or maybe he was not somewhere where anything is ever clear. And I promise you that I will look into your eyes if you tell me again all the things I failed to hear when you told me the stories of men, stories of men. To think we could be enemies. Words swirl in the dark. I took a knife to all that surrounded me. Ooh, I look and I turn my arms to you. Turn my arms to you. I open my arms.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Money police.
Well, you can't fill your tank, you're flagged on our system. Either your credit's running low or you're too far from home. Oh, well, we do what we do for your own protection. Ah, the temperature is rising, better do what you're told. Because money, oh, we are the money. We are the money. Money police. We are the money. We are the money. We are the money. Money police. We call it. It's not easy, but orders are orders. How can you imagine the chaos if we all did as we chose? Why don't you come over here and join us? You get a nice little badge and some bulletproof clothes. Because we are the money. We are the money. We are the money. Money police. We are the money. We are the money. We are the money. Money police. We coming. We are the money, money police. We are the money, we are the money. We are the money, money police. We call it.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do our Christmas song now, I think. Is it Firelight?
Yeah.
So everybody sing along on the chorus, please.
Oh, on this one. Okay.
Oh, well, the days are cold, there's a story that's told. The nights are so long, and the whole world is listening, wondering how to get along. Oh, well, it seems so clear there is nothing to fear. Ooh, by the firelight, and everything depends upon how close we are tonight. Oh, 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 everybody, and we don't need them anymore. There's a new year coming, and it's nothing like the ones before. I've been praying all my life, now I know what I'm praying for. Well, deep inside we know that life is a ride, but we've been dragged around by clowns. We built a wild-looking circus, but it never really served us. Now it's time to bring it down. And all the ones we adored and called heroes were flawed. They left us feeling cold, and now we feel it in our blood that there was nothing ever good about the good stuff. We were sold, oh, oh, oh. Everybody, and we don't need them anymore. Oh, there's a new year coming, and it's nothing like the ones before. I've been praying all my life, and now I know what I'm praying for. All we've been told is about to explode. The fuse is lit, we can feel it here. Something like rock and roll. All wounds will be healed. Everything hidden will soon be revealed. All seals will be unsealed as it all unfolds. Oh, oh, oh. Well, the days are cold, there's a story that's told. The nights are so long, and the whole world is listening, wondering how to get along.
Thanks. Right, can we have a big round of applause for Poppy, please? This is Poppy's first time singing with us. Yeah, no, it's been brilliant. Katy-Jo and Poppy been to
working hard all day and then they come and rehearse with us in the evening. And we really appreciate that, and it's been great fun. And this is only the second gig that Katy-Jo's done. So another round of applause for Katy-Jo. And Katy-Jo's now going to sing a song that Emmy wrote. She's not here tonight. She used to be in the band, so it's called We're Still Here.
I'd like to add that I've never sung it before with the band. So bear with me.
We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here, and they can get lost.
And they release a panacea. Ooh, just a little prick to save a granny. Ooh, but why out of nowhere clocks plague the younger lots? Their depopulation plan, stepping up the gear.
We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here, and they can get lost. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here, and they can get lost.
And there's a boiling planet. Ooh, the world is warming up with lightning speed. Ooh, the war is now on carbon. Wasn't there a hole in the ozone? Now, makes sense to put the prices up. Choose eat or eat.
We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here, and they can get lost. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here, and they can get lost.
What's still chaos? What's up in the oven? Who knew you would never see? One starring outside the screen. Maybe I think I'll grab some popcorn 'cause it should never be an alien invasion. The end of the world is impending.
We're still here, and we're not going anywhere. We're still here,
And they can get lost. Come on now, Rob, let me hear you.
we're still here,
And we're not going anywhere.
we're still here,
So they can get lost.
we're still here,
And we're not going anywhere.
we're still here, and they
Oh, Orlando. Come and play some guitar. Right, this is a bit of a throwaway one. It's a bit of a rockabilly tune. But everyone needs to sing on the chorus on this one. So this one's called No One Regrets Not Taking It, okay? So it's just everyone, when it stops, you just go... Play that bit of it. No one regrets not taking it. Okay, you got it, something like that. He's gone. Orlando will be back in a minute. Round of applause for Orlando. Hey! All right, we're going to do a song called 15 Minute City now.
Just where you want to be. Cheer you up. High five.
you're screaming, wondering how long can you live with this feeling? You look pretty in your 15-minute city while outside is wild. Well, the wars are all imagined but appeared so real that you retreated. You took comfort in the dead and defeated. You look pretty in your 15-minute city while outside is wild. We can meet you at the border. We move on scene like the fourth stage of water. We can meet you at the border. We can see in the dark. Oh! You retreated. You took comfort in the dead and defeated. You look pretty in your 15-minute city while outside is wild. Oh, we can meet you at the border. We move on scene like the fourth stage of water. We can meet you at the border. We can see in the dark.
You like it here. You have all you need and more. All you ever wanted. Delivered to your door. No need for fun. No need for stress. You'll have so much more by having less. You must follow the science. The science is clear. You have all you need and more, and you like it here. You have all you need and more, and you like it here.
Thank you. Right, this next song is called Rivers of Blood. It's dedicated to Mr. Enoch Powell.
Shake, shake, shake! Break, break, break! Shake, shake, shake!
Ah.
Well, the morning seemed like none before. The sun is seeping underneath the door. My thoughts are dark, but my heart is good. The country is running with rivers of blood. Well, I did not think it would look like this. Church spires lost in the dirt and the mist. My thoughts are dark, but my heart is good. The country is running with rivers of blood. I would do the same in your shoes. Nothing more to gain or to lose. Well, the beach is burdened with a bunch of slaves. They come this far to dig the children's graves. Puppets in a game that's not understood. In a country that's running with the rivers of blood. Oh, shake, shake, shake. I hear the thunder.
Break, break, break.
I'm out in the wild.
Shake, shake, shake.
I'm a shaking with wonder. I would do the same in your shoes. Nothing more to gain or to lose. Where you were born in a camp under the Milky Way, and you offer me the rights for which your children pay. We destined to meet like brothers should, in a country that's running with rivers of blood. Oh, shake, 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 hear the thunder, break, 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 I'm out in the wild, shake, 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 I'm shaking with wonder. Oh, shake, 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 break, 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 shake, shake, shake. Well, the monkeys keep on grinning. They seem to think it's story time. The audience lap up their stunts. They seem to think the story is fine. All the buyers being sold, all the sellers being sold. There's not a lot a man can hold. Whoa, 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 whoa. Everything I see slide across the floor. All I ever thought I needed, I don't need anymore.
there's a bit at the end of this song. We've got, I think, two or three verses. There's a bit at the end of this song where you just got to shake your leg like this. Okay, because Vicky needs help squeezing that last note out of the trumpet. So,
can still see the tree. Vicky on the trumpet.
All right, we've got two more. We've got two more. Yeah. Oh, maybe. So yeah, these are all our original songs because we're not allowed to do the covers. But maybe after the cameras have stopped, we can do. Get into trouble. Right, this one's called Medicine, and it's about, well, it's not just about a certain type of medicine that was offered, but
It's the best one.
Me some medicine to keep myself.
Keep myself.
Offered me some rags so I could keep myself.
Keep myself. Be what you want, we don't want what you need. The haunted ghost, that's where the wild birds feed. Just one breath away.
Well, my friend, he took that medicine. He fogged up his Well, my friend, he took that medicine. He fogged up his eye, but I politely declined. Oh, get that away from here. Please, get out of the way. Stop wasting my time. I'll keep myself. Keep myself. I'll keep myself. Keep myself.
okay. Right, this is the one that we used to do in the flash mobs. Before we do it though, just introduce Fern on conga tongas. Round of applause. Paul Harvey McHarvey hoo-hoo on bass guitar. Nick the Stick on drums. Hazel's on guitar. Lovely Orlando guesting on this last song. Orlando. Vicky on trumpet, singing, dancing, tinsel. Puppy, singing, dancing. Yay! And of course, wonderful Katy-Jo. Right, we've got one more. This is
Jake. Jake, come on!
All right, don't say.
We
resisted. Let us mount our own resistance against the tools of mad existence. Na 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 na, yeah. We wanna dance and sing in harmony. We know our friends and our humanity. Na 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 na, yeah. We wanna dance and sing in harmony. We know our friends and even enemies. Live our lives with some humanity.
Right. I want everyone to pray for Vicky now. Please pray for Vicky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody. Go. Na 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 na. Hey. Right, everybody singing, everybody singing. Here we go. Na 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 na. Oh. Na 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 na. Hey. Okay, last one, everybody singing, everybody singing. Na 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 na. Hey, na 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 na. Hey. Yay! Thank you, brilliant. Right, I think that's it. Thanks for everyone coming. Are we all right? We off air? Does it matter? Oh, it might not be the last one. I reckon Katy-Jo might have one in.